Hello, friend Jim here with JB's Big Adventure, coming to you from Lake Chapala, Mexico. And today I'm going to be covering the 8 most common reasons why people leave Lake Chapala. So, the very first one is when it comes to safety and security, it's home break-ins or burglary. Now, in all of my studying over the last 5 years that we've lived here, this is probably one of the number one things that people want to talk about and they wonder about. And I got to tell you, I can live here and I have absolutely no concern or fear of fear. Barbara and I were up in the States when I'd gotten my diagnosis of cancer, and we were in Phoenix. And I got to tell you, the 2 places that we stayed at, which were supposed to be, on the lower side, but it wasn't like cheap. What I would say is Motel 6. The challenge is one of them was a Motel 6 that was going into a Super 8, I think it was, or something like that. But I was glad to get home. So when it comes to break-ins, there's several things that I just kind of noted, and that is people ask, are homes being targeted? And I would say that if you live here along the North Shore, I can't really think of an area that there's going to be a high target. Obviously, those that do the burglarizing are not expats. So if you've got things just you're showing around and you show you got money and such, that's not a good thing. So homes are being targeted. I would say that's not a huge concern. Are vacant homes easier to target? Yes. That is why it's important that if you're not going to be home for a period of time, I would say either have somebody stay there or even make sure you've got the lights that are coming on, some way of showing that somebody could very possibly be there. Should I install security cameras? I've not met anybody here that said that's going to be the fix and they're installing video cameras. So I haven't seen that, and I don't think that would necessarily be somewhat of concern. Barb and I, we're blessed. We live in a gated community, and I know there's been a couple of times that when we've left, we've accidentally left the door unlocked, and but there was nothing inside the house going through everything when we got home. So I would say if you're in a gated community, there's probably a lot more security with that. Not that that's why we live here, but it is nice to know that I've got the ability to be able to be at peace away from the public eye and such, which is really nice. But it isn't for fear of anything. Should I have bars? Can't read my own writing. Should I have bars installed on the windows? I would say that's not a requirement. Now, it all depends on where you decide to live. There are some neighborhoods that I would say are not the better neighborhoods to stay in, because I have heard of folks that we know that have actually been burglarized. In all fairness to them, it just so happened that they weren't at the house for, I'm going to say it was a month. And somebody did burglarize. But in the area that they live in, there's not much people going by and seeing people, and it's kind of out and away from a lot of things. So I could see how that could be a target. Having an alarm system put in, I mean, what I would say is anything that's a good deterrent, there's nothing wrong with that. Is it something that everybody does? No, we don't have a security system. I don't know of anyone here that's got a security system. Now, I know there's some folks that actually have lights that come on with motion, but there's even times where the animals actually turn those on because of the different types of animals that are actually in the wild here. So, according to recent data, the overall rate in Chapala remains relatively low, with most incidents being nonviolent, petty crimes such as pickpocketing or even thefts of opportunity. Violent crimes are rare, and I will tell you they are very rare, primarily defined to disputes among locals rather than targeting tourists or even expats. So I would say that is very, very true. The crime rate in Chapala and Ajijic is very minimal, especially consider that they're 45 minutes to an hour away from the second largest city in Mexico, which is Guadalajara. I would say this in reality is opportunistic burglaries do happen. Homes left empty for extended period of times or with obvious valuables visible may be at greater risk. I would say you just got to make sure that you're taking any precaution, depending on where you're at, that's important to you. So I would say to you, it's something that people can do. There's even some folks that as we drive around the neighborhood, you can see like broken glass up on top of the wall that aligns the wall, or there's electric fences and those kind of things. I don't know of anybody personally in the 5 years that we've been here that's built a new house and put those around their walls. That just isn't done. You don't see that from Expat. So that is something that's really, that's an important thing to think about. Package theft. I gotta tell you that as online shopping has become more prevalent, in other words, for the most part, everybody's shopping online, package theft has become a concern. But I've not heard of becoming a concern here at Lake Chapala. So people wonder, can Amazon, US, or Mexico packages be left outside? I would say depending on where you live. Again, we live in a gated community. We get Amazon MX, Amazon US. Sometimes Barbara buys from Temu. I sometimes get things from AliExpress. Both of those are Chinese companies. Is it safe to leave? We've had stuff from Amazon left at our front door, sometimes behind a bush or here in the backyard. But I would say live in the front door. Probably if you're in a gated community, is probably the better place to do something like that. It's safe to receive deliveries, and there shouldn't be a reason why you got to do an Amazon locker with local pickup. There's no reason why you can't have it delivered to your front door. Maybe just let them know what time that you'll be there so they can make sure to get the package to you in hand. Petty theft. Most instances involve crimes of opportunity, just opportunistic people. And as I said, I haven't heard of anybody that have been an expat that's actually been the one charged with a crime. Normally it's going to be locals. So examples of that: pickpocketing, leaving purses unattended. I would say it's probably the one I've heard the most of, but it's only like once or twice I've heard about anybody having a purse unattended that actually got taken. Cell phone theft. I know there's been folks that have had cell phones in their back pocket. Somebody goes up and pickpockets them. But the times I've heard of those pickpocket things going on isn't here. It's been more in Guadalajara. Wallet theft, theft from unlocked vehicles. Folks, I would say that it's common sense. I mean, I would say you always want to make sure your car's locked. It's just the way it is, the way our country is. So I would include that. Here's another thing. There are certain busy areas that are here, Lake Chapala, the Ajijic Plaza, the Chapala Malecon, the weekly markets, the Tianguis. There's one on Monday, there's one on Tuesday, there's one on Wednesday, one on Friday. Festivals and bus terminals. There's only one bus, well, I shouldn't say that. There's two bus terminals, three. One's in Jocotepec, one's in Ajijic, and one's in Chapala. So those are the areas that you would most often hear about petty theft. Vehicle break-ins. Visitors often ask, is street parking safe? Again, it depends on where you're at. And when you're saying safe, it's what are you considering to be safe? So, for the most part, I would say that you can park a vehicle on the street or even in a driveway and not have problems. That's just a common sense thing, making sure the car is locked. Should I leave valuables in my car? No. When I wrote this out, because of this research I've been doing, The stories and all that I heard. I would not leave valuables inside the car, especially open to everybody seeing. Are catalytic converter thefts common? This is a big thing in the States, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to share that also. Catalytic converters, those are things that basically are close to your exhaust pipe. And yes, they can go and take them. I've not heard of one person here that's ever had that done. Not one. My advice would be simple as this: lock your vehicle, don't leave bags or electronics visible, and park in well-lit areas. Scams, and this is more important. Expats frequently worry about being involved in a scam. Here are the scams that I really look down and want to share with you. Fake rentals, that happens. You see something on Facebook, you send somebody money, and then find out that was a scam. Make sure you're dealing with a realtor, a rental agent, somebody's experienced, the owner, the landlord, the management company. Make sure you've got somebody you're involved in so you don't get a real estate scam. Real estate fraud when you're purchasing. Contractor scams. Taking your money and then never showing up to do the job. This is what I put at. Immigration consultants. I have heard of numerous scams with that. That's why I encourage folks to use attorneys, but to each his own. I mean, that's, it's just one of those ones I've heard of scams that have taken place. Fake attorneys. We were told when we first came and we had to go deal with our immigration papers and all, that we were meeting with an attorney. She was nothing but a paper shuffler. They call them, I can't think of the word right now. Facilitators. Don't get me wrong. Not everybody's bad. I'm just saying there are definitely things that have gone around about that. Internet marketplace scams. You know, seeing something online you're going to buy and it turns out to a scam. This is why many experienced expats emphasize working with trusted, established professionals. Now, as if you've been following the channel for a while, one of the things I've actually amassed and put together is a book. In this book is 14 pages listed of the different Mexican individuals that are business owners that I would feel comfortable referring someone to. Why? Because we've used them. Or I've gotten together with them and did a video with them, and they're just really good people. If I get feedback from folks that, hey, that person wasn't any good, I take them off the list. Real easy. And I've got, I think, something like a dozen and a half maybe of categories, of different categories, whether it be a mechanic or whether it be a dentist or a doctor or the better hospitals or the banks, all those kind of things. So that could be something. If you have an interest in something like that, I give it away for free. There's no charge for it. And but there is, I have a tour I give. And every single person that goes on my tour, they get a copy of that for free. As you can see on the screen, that's what it looks like. That's exactly what you're getting. And even inside of this book, there are even videos that I've done with those individuals, because this book is actually emailed to you. So once you get an email, you can actually go through and look for someone that you want to use. Click on the video right there because it's a live link, and you get the chance of watching that video that I did as an interview with that business person. Number 6, medical emergencies. That's a really important one when it comes to safety and security. Here's what's important about that. And this is also inside my book. How quickly does an ambulance driver arrive? It isn't like the States. Which hospitals are the best? That is something that when you come and go on my tour, I actually show you which ones are best. And why is that? Why is that? Is English spoken? Are you able to find people that can actually help you? Another question I thought of was, do I have private insurance? Or do you need private insurance? Or do you have Medicare Advantage? Because you can use Medicare Advantage here in Mexico, here at Lake Chapala, as long as it's an urgent or emergency. Barbara's already been in the hospital twice, and Medicare took care of those. So many residents develop an emergency plan before they actually need one. So knowing what the phone numbers are, knowing how to get in touch with the ambulance, knowing where the better hospitals are is really an important thing. Driving safety. When we first got here, a lot of people said to us, you don't want to drive here. Mexico's crazy to drive around in. It's nuts. And people drive like this or they drive like that, and the motorcycles go on the side of you, and blah, blah, blah. And then they says, well, you don't want to drive for certain. You want to drive in Guadalajara. And I had so much fear put into me about driving in Guadalajara that I told Barbie the very first time we went to Guadalajara, we didn't drive up there. We took the bus. And we got there, and it was like, what are people complaining about? I mean, well, I'm from Southern California, so maybe it has something to do with it. But just the idea, I mean, it wasn't like it was a big deal. So driving is often a bigger concern than even crime. So here's some common issues. Motorcycles weaving in and out through traffic. Do they do that in the States? Yes. Do they do it in Canada? Yes. Well, they do it here too. The topes, the speed bumps. They can show up out of nowhere. And if you hit them, you don't know about it, and you hit it, you could either get air off of that speed bump, or you just lost the bottom half of your car. So that's something that is more of saying safety and security. So they're keeping the speeds down, but they can also be a danger at times. Narrow streets, pedestrians crossing unexpectedly. I just don't get it. It seems like, and now this is not the expats, this is the Mexican people, the culture. We have actually been driving and somebody will walk across the street without even looking. I've seen literally buses, city buses stop, and somebody gets off the bus and goes around the front of the bus without even checking to make sure that somebody to their left wasn't in that lane. That's crazy. It's crazy. They sometimes live, basically abandoned, just a reckless abandon of living, and motorcycles not looking and all those kind of things. Don't get me started on that because that's a whole nother video. Aggressive buses. I put this on here because of the fact I've heard of some people talking about the buses can be aggressive. I really haven't seen it. Heavy rain during the summer. Well, I put that on there because somebody else had it on there. Heavy rain during the summer. Here we have the rainy season. It starts about June and goes to about October. So that's late summer. But I will tell you, that doesn't have anything to do with driving. It isn't a driving issue here. Many newcomers say driving takes time to adjust to. Sure, but after you've been out for a few times, you got a hang of it. All right, nighttime walking. It's asked, is it safe to walk after dinner? Which neighborhoods are well lit? Should I take a taxi home? I would say that's an important thing. I mean, if you decide that you're going to come and you want to take my tour, I let you know what places aren't going to be an issue when it comes to walking at night, or which neighborhoods are well lit, because I take you through these neighborhoods. So that's an important thing here. Now, is it something that's going to change the life of somebody living here if they find out that they didn't heed the warning and they just moved into a neighborhood and realized then that was a mistake? Do you know how many times I hear that? How many times I hear people saying, oh, well, I'll just go ahead and I refer them to a rental agent and they go do it themselves. Disaster. I've got one guy that came down and brought his mom. She, I believe, was in her 80s. And he said he was looking for a place to rent, and I gave him my rental agent. I said, this gal is honest. She will take care of you. She'll work 110% in your behalf. And they went with somebody else. And it turned out that this place that they rented was in one of the gated communities at $2,000 a month. So it ends up being that after being there 2 or 3 weeks, she falls and calls me and says he's trying to get out of the lease. And he told me that he was told that there was 3 promissory notes that he signed in the lease. The only way that he could get out of it was to pay $2,000 a month times 12 months. That's $24,000. $24,000 to get out of that lease. I even went to 2 real estate attorneys, and both of them told me the same thing. It's legal. It's legal in Mexico. If you don't know what you're signing, that's a big mistake. Big mistake. Big mistake. So knowing where you're renting and those safety concerns, safety walk in the evenings, are the neighborhoods well lit? Take a taxi home. So many residents enjoy evening walks, but are also recommend staying aware of your surroundings and avoiding isolated areas late at night. So what I'm saying is, you want to make sure that you are aware of what's going on around you. Nighttime walking. Number 9, organized crime concerns. One of the most searched questions is, does cartel activity affect Lake Chapala? And I will tell you, we've been here 5 years. You can't point who the cartel is. But here's an important thing. Most expats are not directly affected by organized crime in their daily lives. But news about broader regional security issues can understandably raise concerns. It is helpful to distinguish between isolated incidents, border-related issues, and everyday life at Lake Chapala communities, rather than assuming they are all the same. That is not the case. They're not all the same. And here in just a moment, I'm going to share something else with you about that. Emergency preparedness. New residents often ask me, or on the tour, who do I call for an emergency? That's an important question. If something happens, you've got to know where you call. And it isn't 911. It isn't 911. That's another important thing about going on my tour, because this is all inside the book. What are the local emergency numbers? Is there English-speaking assistance on the other end of the phone? That's an important knowledge to know where you can dial and get that. Which hospital should I use? What happens during a power outage? Should I have backup water or cash? Yes, these are important things. These are important things. If you, in fact, have an interest in my tour, I've just gone through cancer diagnosis and then being in Phoenix at MD Anderson Cancer Center, and over a period of 5 weeks found that no longer had cancer. It was a miracle. I have those videos out also talking about that. But I would say to anybody that's looking at moving here, make sure that you know where you're moving to. And that's what my tour does. 2 days of literally taking you all through here. It's $500. There's 2 other services that are in the thousands. I'm $500. I'm going to $650. But here's the thing I'd share with you. I'm back doing this again. And I would say, if you want to take advantage, my email address is at the bottom of the screen. And in the description of the email, there's actually a list of some individuals I've taken out and their testimonial of the time together. So, having a plan before an emergency provides real peace of mind. The bottom line, in comparison to other Mexican cities and popular tourist destinations, Chapala stands out as a safe haven. The expat community brings in over $500 million a year into the economy here at Lake Chapala. It offers a tranquil atmosphere and a tight-knit community that contributes to its overall security. See, when things go on in the cartel, it's cartel against other cartel gangs. It isn't against expats. Don't forget, we're in our 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. So we're well past all that stuff that goes on. While it's important not to generalize about safety across an entire country, it's worth noting that Mexico has been portrayed unfairly, I put in unfairly, by the media on occasion. Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Puerto Vallarta, Mazatlan, Acapulco, and some more are the places that you'll see more of the crime. Strong police presence and security measures are in this area. When it comes to ensuring safety, one can find solace in the fact that Chapala boasts a robust police presence. The local authorities have been proactive steps to maintain law and order with a visible police force patrolling the streets day and night. When they're driving around in their trucks or cars, the lights are always going. That's not trying to pull somebody over. That's letting everybody know that they're there, which is great, which is a great deterrent. These dedicated officers are trained to respond swiftly to any security concerns or emergency situations that may arise, providing a sense of security for both residents and tourists alike. One of the reasons Lake Chapala continues to attract thousands of retirees is that many long-term residents feel the quality of life outweighs the risks when they use common sense precautions. Like anywhere else, no community is risk-free, and informed preparation is important. After taking around 160 to 200 couples out on my tour, my Boots on the Ground Discovery Tour, I've learned that the safest move isn't just the right house, but choosing the right neighborhood. Building relationships with your neighbors and understanding how life really works. And my goal isn't to convince somebody to move here. It's to help you make an informed decision based on facts, realistic expectations, and firsthand experience. So friend, I hope that this has been helpful for you. If you're one of those ones that gets concerned about the security, the safety here, just know that it's something that we didn't know about when we got here either. That's why you're watching this channel. That's why I care, if you can feel. I don't want you to have to go through things that we did. That's why the channel started. The channel didn't start because we came to Mexico and says, we're gonna have a YouTube channel. It was the farthest thing away from my mind. I deal with severe depression, PTSD, bipolar, and ADHD. I wasn't coming to start a YouTube channel. So here we are at 550 videos later, over 5 years. So just know that on your behalf, I've gone through and made all the mistakes and used the wrong people and the wrong people we referred to and such. So I hope that this has kind of helped a little bit direction for you in regards to you being able to live your Mexican dream. So friend, as always, thank you so much for being a part of this channel and supporting this community. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you on the next video.